So today I want to go through all of the palettes that I have yet to touch in my collection. I have a lot of palettes, I really do. Eyeshadow palettes we're talking about specifically, and I feel like I've done a really good job of trying to go into my eyeshadow palettes and rotating them, and just at least, even if it's just for one or two shades, I feel like I've done a really good job. But we're in the middle of the year now, and I've just had a look, and there's quite a lot that I have yet to touch. So we're gonna go through all of the eyeshadow palettes that I have yet to even go into just for one shade alone. There are gonna be some missing here where you probably thought, well, hang on a minute, did you go into that palette? And there's some palettes that I've gone into just this week that you wouldn't have seen yet. So you wouldn't know that I've gone into them. So that's why they're not on this list, because I actually have gone into them. But there is an awful lot here that I have neglected. I mean, I'm trying my best, but with the amount of eyeshadow that I have, it's kind of ridiculous, right? So it's, you know, there's only so many eyeballs that I can work with on a regular basis. So anyway, with that being said, we're gonna go through all of the eyeshadow palettes, and there's no order in this. They're just all a mix. I will say though, however, a lot of these are Colourpop, and they're all of the ones that I have depotted. So we're gonna go through those first because they're pretty much all in here. And I have like written down all of the ones that I basically neglected. But yeah, there's an awful lot here. So we'll start with all my Colourpop. These are mostly my 9-pan monochromatic ones, but I have a few of the 12-pan palettes in here as well. I didn't depot all of my Colourpops. I think there's maybe just 2 that I've left as is, and then everything else is in here. And I did not keep every shade in the palette. So for instance, like one of the ones on the list here is It's My Pleasure from Colourpop. I don't know, I mean, I don't remember if I kept all of the shades from It's My Pleasure, but I know in my spreadsheet I have not gone into any of the current shades that I currently have at all once this year. So that's how we're doing this. So yeah, let's start with this one here. So I did post a video of depotting all of these, so if you're interested in seeing that and you haven't seen that on my channel, I will try to put it in the cards if I remember when I'm editing, but I don't really know. Anyway, so this, I have like them all kind of monochromatic. So a lot of the It's My Pleasure will be in this slide right here because it was very purple leaning. And I, to be fair, the only shade that I've gone in, which this is a spoiler for my Pandas eyeshadows, is this one. So since I've done this, the only shade I've gone into is this one in this entire slot here. So yeah, It's My Pleasure has been completely neglected so far this year, but I am also, in my Pandas eyeshadows, just so you know, I am going to be always rolling in at least one of these shades in there so that I try to work on it. So potentially it could be It's My Pleasure next time, we never know. The next one is Lilac You A Lot. So again, a lot of those are going to be in this purple one because that is a very purple leaning palette. So yeah, I haven't gone into any of these. So that one's gonna be popping up on the list. Next Colourpop I see here is the Whatever palette. That is a 12-pan palette. So that one is mostly gonna be a lot of neutrals. There's some like goldy shades in there, but there were neutrals. There's gonna be some in here, and there might be maybe 1 or 2 in here towards like the yellow side. But I think mostly that what I did keep will be in here. And I have not gone into these except for this shade, which is currently in my Pandas eyeshadows. So yeah, that's why it's been neglected. I have also not gone into the Orange You Glad palette, which is a 9-pan monochromatic palette, and that is basically all orange, and a lot of those shades are going to be in here, at least the ones that I kept. I know this one is definitely, this one is, these bright oranges over here are, and I just haven't gone into them. So I do need to maybe I'll roll this into a Shop My Stash and kind of play with it a little bit more. Next one from my Colourpops that I have been neglecting is the Main Squeeze. So I have not gone into any of the Main Squeeze, which is a 9-pan monochromatic palette. I don't know how to talk today. And it's mostly red. So red and berries is going to be in this one right here. And I haven't gone into any of the shades from that one yet. I had a lot, I still have them, a lot of Colourpop palettes, and that's why I wanted to condense them and put them all into this palette. Whether it's worked, obviously you'll see it hasn't worked because I haven't gone into this palette enough, but I do plan to do that. So trust me, it's going to be fine. But anyway, the next one is Baby Got Peach, which is very peach leaning. So a lot of the shades are going to be in here. I know I didn't keep all of the shades from that one because I really didn't like the formula of that one, at least the one that I got. But there are definitely shades in here from there because I did keep them all and I have all of the names written in the back. Next up, we've got the Mint to Be. So I've got my greens and my blues here. So Mint to Be is obviously very minty. So I know, for instance, this is the Mojito Mami in the Mint to Be. So that one I've hit pan on. And a lot of these are going to be the Mint to Be. I might have kept all of them. There might have been 1 or 2 mattes where I didn't keep them. But I think I kept all 3 of the shimmers. So it came with 3 shimmers. But I haven't gone into them yet this year. Then we've got the Blue Moon. So that's obviously blue. And it's going to be all of these. I think I kept all of the Blue Moon, to be fair. It looks like I have 9 shades here. Yeah, I think these are all from the Blue Moon. And I kept them all because I don't have very many blue Colourpop pans, obviously. So there was no need for me to get rid of any of them. And they all are slightly different from each other as well. So the Blue Moon is here. I just haven't got into it. Okay, next up is the Aha Honey palette, which I actually went into a lot last year. It was one of my most used palettes of the year because it was in my project level up and it took me absolutely forever to hit these 2 pans. It was for level 3. I only needed to hit 3 pans. One of the pans I hit relatively okay. The last 2 took me forever. Like, Colourpop is hard. It's hardcore. So anyway, the Aha palette I have not used this year, but I don't feel bad about it because I know I used it a lot last year and a lot of them are here. So these are the 2 shades that took forever, by the way. This one and this one. This is the one that took me the longest time, and then this one wasn't so bad, and it's just this beautiful shimmer. But I think I have all of the I think so, because I have quite a few yellows here. So yeah, this one was one that was used a lot last year, so I don't feel too bad. But obviously I would still like to be able to say I've gone into every single palette of my collection this year. So there's quite a lot here that I still need to do. Okay, then we have the Wine and Only palette. And this is more of a deep, dark, sort of purpley berries palette. I have a few of them over here. Like, oh, some of these are going to be the Wine and Only, where this is from Flutterby. So not this one, but these ones over here where it's like these really rich, beautiful berry colors. And I haven't gone into them. This one is from the Wild Child. So it's really going to be like some of these. And then there might be a couple, maybe this one, a couple in here as well, in more of these dark, rich, little reddish berry tones. So yeah, definitely this one is also from the Wine and Only, I know. So I might have kept all of those shades, haven't double checked, but that one I haven't gone into at all yet. And then we have 2 more Colourpop eyeshadow palettes, and then I can talk about everything else. The next one is the Just My Luck. So this one I've had a while. I mean, a lot of these 9 pan, I've had quite a bit. So the Just My Luck is going to be in here. It's going to be these, some of these darker greens, and then also these murkier greens up here are from the Just My Luck. And I do have a pan in this one, and I have really enjoyed this palette. You know, in the past, I just haven't gone into these shades, unfortunately. And then the last one is the Sweet Talk. So this one, I definitely had some shades that I liked. We're gonna see a few shades in this part right here. If I can hold it. Potentially maybe 1 or 2 of the peachy ones. It's kind of a peachy neutral palette, but 1 or 2 of these is from the Sweet Talk, but I'm not so sure. And then the rest are gonna be over here, I believe. So kind of a mixed bag. But yeah, they are all in here. They're all in here. I just haven't gone into them. So a lot of Colourpop palettes that I have neglected. That's actually 12 palettes in total, just from Colourpop alone. Oh my gosh, I feel sick, Anyway, then I've got all of these other ones sitting next to me. So let's go through them. We have the MAC Star Sighting palette. They had different shades. This was like a Christmas special, and this is the fuchsia shade. And you can see this is not neglected. I have a couple pans in here. This is definitely something that I have gone into. I just haven't gone into it this year. So I've had it for several years, still works beautifully. I just haven't gone into it. So I don't feel too bad because it's not like it's not been used. Like, this has been used, just not this year. Next up is my Yasmin palette from Mylo Beauty. You cannot get this, the brand doesn't exist at all. This one I feel like I'm going to depot just simply because I don't see myself going into these shades all that much anymore, and I do feel like they're getting a little bit old. But there are some beautiful shimmers in here. So this is what it looks like. I just think these ones over here, even though they perform beautifully, they are getting a little bit old. I'm getting a little bit nervous about this palette. But I do kind of want to keep the shimmers, so I might keep the shimmers. But again, I have put a lot of use into this. It's just these mattes I cannot hit pan on. I have gone into some of these mattes like 30 plus times, and you just wouldn't even notice. There's no like dip, there's no crater, there's no nothing. I don't know what they put in these, but it's just like it's so pigmented. You don't need a lot. And it's just one of those formulas. I mean, I'm not complaining at all. I've always loved this palette, but it is getting old. This one came cracked and broken. I tried to repress it, but it keeps cracking and breaking. So yeah, there's definitely shades in here I probably don't need to keep, but I definitely think I should probably keep the shimmers and maybe let this one go, but I haven't gone into it yet this year. All right, then I have this palette. This has some singles in it. So I didn't include my like compact singles in this video, but I do have a few single eyeshadow compacts that I haven't gone into this year. So don't hate on me. There's probably it's like 5. It's not too much, but anyway, I just have a few of these. These are the pastel roses. So I have 9 of those. I haven't gone into any of them, although I do have, I have a pan in one of them and I have some use on some. I know this one was in Pan Those Eyeshadows last year or the year before. So I have tried and dabbled, and this one I think is absolutely gorgeous and stunning. I just don't go into these as nearly as much as I need to go into them. And then these are 3 shades that I depotted from the Electric Mood palette from e.l.f. So I have not gone into any of these this year yet. So I kind of include these kind of all together, but I haven't gone into this single palette at all. So yeah, another sort of section of singles that I have neglected. Okay, then we have the Cosmic Brushes Serenity palette. This one I really enjoy. I got it towards the end of last year, I think towards like November time. So I haven't really had too much time to play around with it, and I haven't gone into it yet. I think I'll probably have some fun with it this winter though. It's just too wintry for me to play with right now, but I think the formula of this is absolutely stunning, and I really think the color story is kind of fun. Obviously they came out with the neutrals and they came out with the coutrals, which are 2 kind of fun names for the 2 new palettes that they've come out with. I have had a look at them. I have hummed and hawed about it. I definitely am not going to get the blue one. It's just not for me. I just don't wear enough blue for me to get a palette like that. The neutrals is very pretty, and had I not just bought a bunch of palettes maybe last month and the month before that were quite neutral leaning, I might have probably just snapped this up and picked it up straight away. But it's a palette that's on my radar. I'm thinking about it, but I think if I'm gonna buy it, it's probably gonna be in the future, unless they discontinue it. But it's probably going to be a really popular palette, so they're probably going to bring it back for a couple of cycles, and I imagine I'll probably get it on the next one or the 3rd one if it's still around. It's not a palette that I'm going to be upset about if I miss out on, just simply because I have tons of neutrals in my collection, even though it looks very unique and fun and it's got grungy greens in there too. I don't know, I want to pull back a little bit, so yeah, but it looks really beautiful. But anyway, I haven't gone into this. I think their formula is actually really amazing, so if you haven't tried Cosmic Brushes, definitely give them a try. Okay, then another brand that I absolutely love, but I haven't gone into a couple of their palettes yet. I do have 7 of their palettes though. So it's the Look for Rainbows from Gloss Gods. This is actually one of my favorite palettes from theirs. So the fact that I have not gone into it at all this year is kind of shocking to me. I did hit pan in this shade towards the end of last year in the Pan Those eyeshadows. So it's not been that long ago since I've gone into it. It's a really fun color story. Actually, it's beautiful for spring. It's all shimmer, but I tell you what, these are just special shades. They're absolutely stunning and gorgeous. These are a little bit more packly dense down here, so you could actually use them just to deepen up your look and do like you could use this palette and not have to use any mattes. I know I said it, I said it, but I feel like you can do that. But yeah, I haven't gone into it, so really, really sad. But you know, too many palettes, too little days, too few eyes to work on. Okay, the other one that I have from Gloss Gods is What's Your Power. I would say this is probably on the lower end of, if I had to rank all of my Gloss Gods, which maybe if you would like me to do that in a video, I absolutely can. But I think I would probably rank this a little bit lower than some of the other ones, simply because I think the mattes don't show up as well as I would want them to in this palette. You have some gorgeous, 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 gorgeous shimmers in here. Absolutely stunning. So the shimmer quality is the same as all the other Gloss Gods that I've tried. The mattes though are a little bit lackluster, especially for like these pastel shades. You just need to pack them on a little bit. So if you are a sort of a matte connoisseur and, you know, kind of picky about your mattes, I'm not sure everyone would like this one. And I can see that this one is not as good as other mattes in other palettes, so that's why I would probably rank it a little bit lower. But however, this is such a fun palette, and I haven't gone into it. Again, beautiful for spring, beautiful for, like, this is a gorgeous summer palette. This is a gorgeous summer palette. I need to pull this. I need to pull this before the end of the summer. I mean, look at this, it's calling me. It's calling me. Oh my goodness, so gorgeous. Like when you see them up close, stunning. Okay, another one that I haven't used this year is this one. This is the Stargaze palette from NARS. This is one of their holiday ones that they came out with, not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before. And it's just quite dark and wintry, so I just haven't gone into it. It wasn't a palette that I sort of grabbed in January, February time, and now I just feel like I'm not gonna grab it until like we get to October probably. So, you know, it's a really gorgeous palette, and the quality is stunning. It's just not the right time of year for me to be picking this. Okay, then we have the Jewels and Gems from Odin's Eye. I think the last time I used this, I was slightly disappointed. I feel like every time I use this palette, I'm slightly disappointed. So it's just a palette that I just don't think is all that good. I got it because I thought, you know, it's one of their newer formula palettes when it came out, like 2 years ago now. Was it 2 years ago? Oh my goodness. And you know what, I just wanted to give it another go. Now this shade here is absolutely stunning. I will give them that. If all of their shimmers were like this shade, I would be very, very happy. It's just gorgeous. It's a duochrome. It's orange, it's green. Does it look like that in the pan? Absolutely not. It's really stunning, it's really soft. But then these other ones are super, super scratchy and don't perform the same way. So, you know, it's just hit and miss with Odin's Eye, honestly. And I really think the color story is really fun, but it's also kind of neutral. So again, it hasn't really been the right time of year for me to play around with it if I'm going to play around with it. I don't really play with these jewel tones at this point. I'd probably do it towards the winter time. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but I'm not surprised that I haven't gone into this. Oh, we have another, oh no, this is Glam Shop. Glam Shop Nugatoa. I thought this was Gloss Gods. This one is one that I haven't gone into at all this year. It is quite a beautiful neutral with a little bit of a twist palette. And, you know, I thought it was fun to have a little bit cool tone, but then you do have some warmth as well. So it's like a mix between the two. And honestly, when I got 3 of the Glam Shop palettes all in one go. I got the Sorbetti, this one, the Nugatoa, and the Muesli Noah. They were all in a bundle, and I hadn't tried Glam Shop before. And when I first tried them, I thought this was my favorite. I don't know if it is anymore, because this is the one with the most of the matte. So I think this is the one where you can use for like an everyday look, and it's very, very wearable. The other two are quite colorful and have a lot of like flips to the shimmers, but these have flips too, and it's so beautiful. So I don't really know where I stand with this one because I haven't used it in a while. So I definitely feel like I should pick it up and use it. Maybe for my seven looks in 7 days or whatever, I could pull this one or some of these other ones, because these are all neglected. So I feel like these are all contenders for my next couple rounds of that. I think I wanted to still pull like 7 palettes. So there's definitely enough here for me to do a couple of videos for sure. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And then we have the Ferrell. This is the last one. This is beautiful, stunning. It's from Menagerie. I have 2 palettes from them. This is my least favorite out of the 2. I have the Colourpop, and for some reason I prefer that one over this one. I think it's just because this one's quite dark. It does have the pops of color, but it is kind of dark. So I have to be like in that mood to wear these shades. And honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I do find this color story a little bit daunting. I don't know what to do with this one. It's sometimes when a palette is like this, I find a lot of things that I can do, but for me, I literally just see that pop. I see the pop of yellow, the pop of red, and then a bunch of green, some pink. I mean, I see what I see, but I don't visualize the looks all that well when I look at it. So it might just be the way it's laid out. There's an awful lot of green, a lot of pink, and then I'm like, what do I do? I think that's probably why I kind of have been staying away from it. But the formula of Menagerie is so beautiful. I would say it's one of the best ones that I've ever tried. I know I don't really talk about Menagerie that much because I don't think that, even with the Colourpop, I don't think either one of the 2 palettes that I have are the color story that is like the best color story for me. Like I don't think they're 100% perfect for me. So that's why I don't like rave about them. But honestly, the formula, like the mattes are so buttery and lovely, and they blend, and they're just so easy to work with. And the shimmers are beyond anything. They are stunning. They pack a punch for sure. So it's a shame I haven't gone into this. I mean, I definitely, now that I'm looking at it, I kind of see a look I could do over here, you know, or like this. Yeah, maybe I should go into this. Ugh, it's making me want to go into these palettes, which is a good thing. It's a good thing because I haven't gone into them. So those are all the palettes that I have neglected this year. That is 22 palettes in total, if we include the singles one, which I am. So 22 with the Colourpop and all of the ones I've just gone into. 22 eyeshadow palettes I have yet to go into at all. And I've got 6 months left. You know, considering I have more than double that in total in terms of the amount of palettes that I have in my collection, I think that's actually pretty good. I know it sounds like a lot, but that is less than half of my collection. So if I'm gonna be like working over the next 6 months trying to figure out a way to use these at least once or twice, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. The Colourpop ones are the tricky ones though. I think probably what I'll have to do with this is I'll have to do like its own sort of unique project, or maybe that 7 days, 7 palettes, but it will be 7 days, 12 palettes. I don't know how it's gonna work, but maybe I'll be able to get some use out of them just doing it that way and naturally. But it's interesting to see, like, they're all kind of like different as well from each other. There's some neutrals, there's some colors, there's quite a bit of cool tones, which kind of makes sense because I don't really want to go into cool tones right now. So yeah, anyway, I hope that was enjoyable for you. I know 22 sounds like a lot, but I think just in retrospect, like with the amount that I have in my collection, I'm actually quite pleased with that. So I think it's doable. I think we can get to the end of the year, and I think I can get to the point where I will be able to say I've used 90% of my collection. I'm gonna say 100 because I might still get palettes and then that will take up my time. And let's say 90% of my eyeshadow collection. Let's do it, let's try. We could try to go for 100, I mean, I don't know. But I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you all next time. Bye.